All right, real quick before we get into this video, I want to let you guys know what has been going on. We have currently been in the process of transitioning a lot of the new content that we planned on putting on this channel to a brand new channel. That new channel link is in the description below. Please click on that link to subscribe to our brand new channel where we'll be posting a ton of follow along HIIT workouts, boxing workouts. We have a couple of product reviews that we plan on doing and much more. All of that content will now be on the new channel. On this channel, we will primarily be focusing on the women's self-defense as well as fighting techniques that will relate to self-defense in general. All of that will be done after this series is completed. So we plan on finishing this series. We have the last 3 videos up for you guys. And then after that, moving forward, everything will be changed. Again, the new channel will only be the HIIT follow along workouts, the boxing workouts. And on this channel, primarily, we will be focusing only on the women's self-defense and fighting techniques. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this video.
What's going on, everybody? It's Gary from Fun Around Training here to bring you episode number 4 of our series Heavy Bag Training for Beginners. In this video, we're going to cover defense and head movement that you can go ahead and add to your next heavy bag training session. Let's get started. Alright guys, now, before we begin, please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, as you know that it helps us keep the channel going and allows us to continue to give you this awesome content. Now, defense and head movement with the heavy bag. Remember that every time you're on the heavy bag, ideally, you're training to get ready for fighting, right? Boxers use the heavy bag as a tool to prepare themselves to step into the ring and go to war with an opponent. So when I'm using the heavy bag, I'm not just throwing punches. I'm not just trying to look cool and throw combinations. I'm practicing my defense and my head movement that I'm gonna do while I'm fighting. So we're gonna give you a couple of awesome tips that you can go ahead and take with you to apply to your next heavy bag training session. We're gonna get started right now. All right guys, let's start with your defense. Now, when you're using the heavy bag for defense, the easiest thing to do is use the movement of the bag, as we talked about before. I want to use the movement of the bag itself so that I can practice my movement, keeping my distance, working my movement laterally around the bag. But occasionally we're going to use that movement to practice the defensive movement. So I'm going to show you 3 different movements. The first one is a simple sit. When I'm here, a simple defensive movement is I'm going to sit, and as I sit, my hands kind of stay in place here to block a punch. So let's say you're fighting someone and they threw a jab at you. As that jab is coming, I time it and I sit behind my hands. My hands are out in front like this. I don't stick them out. They stay where they are and I just sit behind them. So we're going to practice that with the heavy bag right now. You're going to do a 1-2-1-2 combo just to get the bag to move a little bit. And then when the bag comes to you, we're going to sit and practice the timing. I want to try to sit when the bag is like right about to touch me. Okay, so 1-2-1-2 combo to get the bag to move. And then let's work on that sit. That's the first defensive movement. All right guys, now defensive movement number 2 is simply using one side to block. So a very simple way that I like to teach this is imagine that you're taking your hand, you're brushing it through your hair. So if I'm here, I'm gonna brush my hair on the one side, brush my hair on the other side. And notice that when I do that and I brush my hair, I'm blocking the side of my face as well as my elbow coming out in front. So if you're throwing a straight punch, I can block it here with my elbow. If you're throwing a hook around, I can block it here like this. So again, defense, it's here, here, up, up. I want to make sure that my hand is coming up. Look, this is the defense. A lot of times we have people, when they do this, the wrong way to do this is to bring your hand out like this. This is not correct. We never want to do this when we're blocking because watch, from the side, look how open I am on this side. So if, let's say somebody threw a fake, they fake the jab to then throw the hook. They're going to fake the jab. I'm going to do this. Now I'm wide open for the hook. It's not a good thing. So good habits are here. Stay nice and tight. So how do we practice that on the heavy bag? Same idea as before. We want the bag to swing a little bit. Now we're going to practice one side at a time. When the bag is swinging at me, I block this way. I move like that. When the bag is coming at me, I want to go the other way. Okay, so 1, 2, get the bag to swing, block. Get the bag to swing, block. Get the bag to swing, block. block. And I don't always have to wait for the bag to necessarily come to me to do these things. We're gonna work on that next. Now, a great way to start practicing all your defensive movements that you just learned, either the sit or the blocking on each side using your hands, is to do it while the bag is moving at you, but you don't necessarily always have to wait for the bag. Sometimes I want to practice maybe from the sit, I want to practice coming back with a cross to work a counter, which we will go over next, but I can, from back here, just practice my sit. Through in the bag, sit. I don't have to wait for the bag to come to me. Same thing with the other side. If I want to work in a block on, even if the bag didn't come near me, I can still work on just bringing my hands up. So I don't always have to wait for the bag. I want to just continuously add it in. Rule of thumb is whenever you're not punching, try to do some sort of defensive movement, because if you're standing still, chances are your opponent is going to throw punches at you. Let's go over head movement next. Now, without getting too complicated, because I know most of you are beginners, when you're doing basic head movement, it's either you're going to sit under one punch or sit under the punch. So you're going to sit either one side or sit the other side. I'm actually going to sit, and when I do that, look, if I'm going to the left, I stab with my left. If I'm going to the right, I stab with my right. Now, a common mistake is to lean forward when you do it. I know you might see a lot of fighters who like to get fancy do this, but that's not correct, because if I'm leaning forward, I'm wide open for an uppercut. If I get caught with an uppercut from here, it's not gonna feel good for me. So when you do it, I want you to stay upright. Notice that I'm staying in a good position, because if somebody punches me right here, I can come right back. I wanna make sure I'm always in good position. So practicing that with the heavy bag is pretty simple. You're just, while you're in your correct distance, I'm gonna use the sit to move laterally around the bag. So let's say I'm here working the bag. I'm gonna sit to move around, sit to move around. We just want you to go side to side. A really, really great way to practice this is doing some slip rope training, which we have an awesome video on. Please click the link up on top to watch that video. Now, what we want you to do is learn to put all of those movements together. You have your sit and block. We have single blocks on each side, or we have duck unders, okay? Now, what you want to do while you're working the heavy bag is try to mix those up. So a great example of doing this is when you're mixing up your combos, try to stick with one or two combos just to make it easier for yourself. And then in between the combos, work on one of the defensive movements. It's gonna look a little something like this. So you notice I was working the bag, and just in between my combinations, I was either working this, working your sit, or worked my duck unders. And that's a great way to start practicing some defense on the heavy bag. All right, guys, now that is it for our defense and movement portion of this training program that we have for you. Make sure that you add all of those movements into your heavy bag training, as they're gonna help you get better as a fighter, but if you're not a fighter, they're gonna help you get a much, much better workout and really give you the kind of training that a fighter gets with maximizing results while you're in the gym. As always, please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, as you know that it helps us continue to bring you content. Now, if you are a complete beginner, please click on the link in the description below to enter my course where I help teach you how to box. I teach you all of the basics, from your movement to your punches to learning how to fight just like a pro in 30 days. Click on the link in the description below. I'd love to work with you. Stay tuned for more, guys. Episode 5 coming soon.